Roger Martin here for Billings, Montana. This is Sean Hannity, and this has 105,000 views. It should have millions. This is so important, and let me just be blunt about this. Either we live by a rule of law that is equal for these elite people and our elected officials and our citizenry, or we don't. And if we don't, it's all coming out whether or not we're going to support the law of the land and the Constitution of this land or not. And if we don't, and if Graham does not get underneath this and get this taken care of, we're done for as a nation. The Constitution is done for. It's gone. It's obliterated. So that's what's at risk here. And let's be perfectly clear about it. Either these people are charged for their treasonous acts and their unlawful acts, or we have no Constitution. That's simple. Here goes.
Comey and others that they had nothing. And that's in May when they appointed the special counsel. What is your reaction to invoking the 25th Amendment, taping the president, using Hillary's bought and paid for dossier and lying to FISA court judges and applications?
Now, all those are illegal things. All of those things mentioned by Sean are illegal. And if they don't get to the bottom of the lies between McCabe and Rosenstein and others, it doesn't matter what we do from this point out. So Congress has a lot of pressure on them. Graham and his committee has a lot of pressure on them to get this straightened out. If they don't, we're done for as a nation, constitutionally speaking. I believe we'll get it straightened out. It may take a year, but I think they'll come to the truth on this, and I think there'll be some federal charges placed from Hillary down. And you're going to find out, as others said, that Obama was in charge of this, and so was Hillary. And both have created, caused, and done criminal acts, treasonous acts against an elected president. That Hillary is not the only one, but Obama has done that too.
Well, it's one of the most significant moments in American history, if it's true. You had the acting head of the FBI talking to the Deputy Attorney General about replacing the president. So what I'll do, oversight is part of my job. We do have checks and balances, so the Congress will watch those who watch us. I'll try to find out who was in these meetings and talk to all of them and figure out who's lying, because somebody's lying.
Most significant moment in our history. This is a coup against a duly elected president. And this crap actually started before he was elected. Trump knows that his grassroots rally saved him and saved his election because there was so much fraud, voting fraud. Now let's go on to this stuff here. This man, Graham, has to stand up and wear some pants and get some stuff done.
Sure sounds that way. Now,
So you can fire Comey for any reason. How do we know? James Comey admitted that. So look at Rod Rosenstein. He's the one that recommended firing Comey. He signed the last FISA application, the third renewal, the fourth one in total.
Now, Rod Rosenstein is being replaced in March, the middle of March, supposedly. That's just coming out. But this man is as slimy as it comes, and so is McCabe. Both have committed very serious crimes, and so is Comey. They're all in this together.
That's why they saved their favorite candidate. Anyone else would have been charged. And according to
now, both Rosenstein and McCabe had grudges against Trump. You can go back and look at several statements, and so did Comey. Comey, Rosenstein, McCabe all had, they're supposed to be part of the Department of Justice and not have any bias, but they all had biases against Trump. Paid biases, by the way. Professionally, they're not supposed to be biased.
Because now they're starting to turn on each other. Because now they're panicking and they know they got caught. Remember, Comey, Rosenstein, Andrew McCabe, Sally Yates, all of them signed off on Hillary Clinton's FISA warrant application using Hillary's bought and paid for, unverified, uncorroborated, phony Russian research. And then...
Now you got to understand this is illegal from many aspects, but the major thing that's real is not only is it paid off, but since she was a candidate in 2016, this is morally wrong. Morally wrong. She should not have the power or authority to do that since she was running as a candidate. From that standpoint, and no one talks about this, but pure and simple, it's morally wrong that she should go against Trump. She was politically running against him, politically motivated to put him out politically, and paid these people to do so.
To lead a hot mess of finger-pointing, leaks, planted press narratives, obstruction, and extraordinary self-righteousness. It's long overdue for decisive action in ending this dysfunction and this corruption. Of course, these major revelations are being ignored by Democrats and their willing accomplices in the hate Trump media. They're even laying the groundwork for more investigations into their, quote, collusion narrative with no information. Look at Shifty Adam Schiff, biggest liar in Congress. Look at what he says.
I'm not going there. This is pure crap. They should be able to sue the president or do any of this crap. So I'm going to end it here. Do a little bit of this here before we close.
Move On's campaign director Emma Einhorn calls, here's the quote, "This false crisis is an illegal, unconstitutional power grab that undermines American democracy to advance his racist agenda."
See, this is more crap put out by the Democratic leading party. And they're going to be dismantled legally and otherwise and financially. And this is why they're fighting like sinking rats on a ship.
Just got a note. I covered MoveOn.org's rise to prominence when they mobilized hundreds of thousands to oppose the war in Iraq under George W. Bush. It will be interesting to see what they turn out coast to coast and whether or not they'll have an action meeting President Trump tonight or this afternoon in Miami when he addresses a group on the situation in Venezuela.
Yeah, we'll see if they come close to the 10,000 number they're expecting. Thank you so much, Griff.
Trump has significant rallies everywhere he's gone. Hillary is out of the picture for running for 2020, has had no following. There are other socialists, Bernie Sanders and other individuals that they're pushing as front runners, but they're not going to pull it off. He told them, Trump said in his State of the Union address, this nation will not become a socialist nation. And we're going to see the slow dismantling of the Democratic Party and its socialist roots before 2024 is done. Mark my words. President will win the 2020 election. At stake, a $100 bill on it. And before 2024 is done, there'll be a lot more subpoenas, a lot more arrests, a lot more legal trials, military and otherwise. And you'll start to see the dismantling. Heavily funding that's going to dismantle the Democratic Party, and arrests that are going to dismantle and shake the Democratic Party to the core. Whether or not another party comes up and replaces it will yet to be seen. Hopefully it will. A better party. A more representative party than the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has been a party of elite criminals for a long, long time. A party of elite criminals for a long, long time. You can go study it out. It's accurate. Very accurate. And the Republican Party is not shameless. There's been some very high criminals, whether it's Bush Sr., Bush Jr., there's been some very criminal elements in the Republican Party also. They're not clean either. Again, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. If they can come after the Democratic Party, they can also come after the Republican Party and the criminals in it. And you're going to see that Trump does do both. you're going to see this. It's going to hit the Democratic Party worse, but it also is going to hit the Republican Party because the law of justice is not blind. It's going to start cleaning out both parties. Criminal elements in both parties. Good news, Roger Martin, Village, Montana. Good day.